Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a barn tour, which I'm super excited about. I've been working on this barn for a couple weeks now, and I'm super excited to share with you guys. This is more of a breeding farm or a breeding barn, so it doesn't have a lot to do with the riding aspects, so the arena, pretty tiny. The barns are nice though, the paddocks are nice though, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. My past couple of live streams have been about me creating this barn, and I'm super excited to do a barn tour. This is just going to be the first barn tour of this world. I do have so many more plans for this barn, so there will more than likely be an updated barn tour of this world. But anyways, let's get started. So this is the barn so far. It's pretty big. This is like the first barn that I have done on a non-flat world. So it was pretty fun learning the tricks and stuff of like having to adjust the land, having to flatten land, having to move land, you know. It's been a challenge, that's for sure, but I've enjoyed it. So right here, this is the gelding paddock. So I am using the realistic horse genetics mod and the horse tack mod. I did do a mod overview of the realistic horse genetics mod. I haven't done one of the horse tack mod. If you guys want to see that, comment down below and I will for sure make a mod overview of that mod. But with the realistic horse genetics, there's so many different horse colors that you wouldn't normally see with vanilla horses. So here's the gelding paddock. It's pretty big. It also is right next to a village, which I do plan on turning into like a horse market village. But this is where I've been putting my retired breeding stallions and my geldings that I just don't want to breed because their stats aren't that good or whatever. So we have two retired breeding stallions in here that have been gelded and put into this pasture. So here's Chevy. I haven't decided if I'm going to use him for breeding or not. I might, but he's just hanging out here for now. Here's Axel. He was one of our foundation studs, so he like helped create some of the babies, and he has been retired. Over here, this guy that is running away from me, this is Grizzly. He's a little buckskin guy. Here's Houdini. He's another retired breeding stud. He also did make quite a few babies. And then up here we have Cowboy, and he's also running away from me. But he's just a regular bay horse. And then I do have one more over here. He's hiding. And then this is Rocky. He's a little silver bay horse, and I also am not deciding to breed him. So these guys are not going to ever be bred, except for Chevy. I might take him out for breeding every once in a while, but I haven't decided yet. And then here is one of our stallion barns. We have two. We have this one, and then we have this one, and they're the exact same, except this one has one less stall because I have less land to work with. Here is Mozart. He's our Arabian, and he is currently in the process of graying out. He was born a bay, and he is now like a dapple gray, but he will fully gray out and look like Axel does. So here we just have their name, their breed, and their height, because these horses actually do have heights, which I can show you guys. So with the realistic horse genetics, they all have height. So he's 15 hands, and then you can also see what gender he is. So he is a stallion at 15 hands. At 15 hands. I said 15 hands. But each stall has a grain bin, a hay net, and then their water. And then each stallion has a tack box outside of their stall, and their tack box just has their genetics book, their halter, their blanket, and then their different riding tack. And so I will go ahead and show you guys the genetic book. So with the realistic horse genetics mod, you can take a look at a horse's genetics and health and stats through a book. So as you can see, he's pretty average for the most part, which is good because I've been trying to breed for better horses. So he's also created a lot of foals, and he will continue to make more foals because he's so good. And then the next page you can see all their genetics. So you can see that he has the gray gene, he has the Sabino gene, and so many more fun things. And so if you love playing with horse genetics and learning about horse genetics, this mod is super fun. Yeah, it's so much fun. And you, like, if you breed a horse, you're never going to get that same color horse ever again, which is super cool. Alright, here we have Bear. He's our fjord. He's 14 2 hands, and he's just a regular dun guy. I haven't bred him yet, but I do have some mares lined up for him. And then here's his stuff as well. Here's Onyx. He's a quarter horse. He's another one of our bigger horses. He's sitting at 15-3, and he's this Grula color. He is not a blue roan because he does have a dorsal stripe, so he is a Grula. And he's super pretty. He has made a few foals. I haven't bred him a lot. And then, oh, I did not mean to do that. Gosh darn it. Here's all of his stuff. Let me get a chest real quick, because my dumb self decided to break it. Okay. Here's this book. This halter. And then the horse tack mod has a bunch of different cool tack sets. So they have like riding tack, English tack, jumping tack, western tack. They also have racing tack, which is also pretty cool. And then right here is another gate into the gelding's pasture. So I forgot to mention we have a pig in here as well. His name is Pickles. And then here are all the gelding stuff. So they each have a blanket and a halter, and then their books are up here as well. So here is Eclipse. He's a little Welsh pony. He's very tiny. He sits at 13-3 hands, but he has really cool color. He's like a black Tobiano color, but he's not like a normal Tobiano color. He's like a minimal Tobiano. And I've bred him a couple times, and he's produced pretty good foals. So I'm probably going to use him again. Here's Shiloh. He's another Welsh pony. He also sits at 13-3. And he's just a buckskin Tobiano. He's really pretty. And then lastly on this aisle we have Memphis, and he's a thoroughbred. He sits at 16-1 hands. There's his tack box. I never showed these guys his tack box. There's Shiloh's, and then Eclipse. But he is a red roan. He's super pretty. He's so pretty. And then he does have like a dorsal stripe going. He does carry the dun gene, but I'm not sure like what dun this would be. He's more of like a red roan color that carries the dun gene, which is very interesting. I don't think that can actually happen in real life, but I mean, you never know. And then this is just an empty area for now. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. Okay, coming back up here, we have our second barn. And then this is an entrance to the arena. Like I said, the arena is very small and the jumps are very sad looking, but it works. It does the job. And here we have another stallion barn. So these are mostly the foundation stallions. So these are like the first stallions that I ever got in this world. So here's Atlas. He's a 16-3 hand quarter horse. He is our biggest horse, I believe. And he's a little bay roan. He's super pretty. He's definitely one of my favorites. He's had many foals. And then here's his tack box. And then this is our cat. Her name is Kitty. I definitely stole her from the village and adopted her as a barn kitty. Here's Sparrow. He's a Dutch warm blood sitting at 15-2 hands. He's actually not a foundation stud. This used to be Axel's stall, but since Axel retired, I moved Sparrow in here because I want to breed him. I haven't bred him yet, but I really do want to use him. And then he has a lime color tack. And then here's Cash. He's an American warm blood. He's also pretty big, sitting at 16 hands. And he's just a normal chestnut Tobiano guy. He's also had quite a few foals. I've used him for a lot of babies. And then here's this guy. This is Percy. He doesn't actually have a sign yet. I just moved him in here. This used to be Houdini's stall, but I just moved him in here. So this is Percy. He's a chestnut Tobiano, but he does carry the silver dapple gene, which is the main reason I moved him in here. And he's also pretty good. Like, his stats are pretty good, so I'm going to use him to make better babies. And then here's his stuff as well. And then next we have one of my favorites. This is Nero. He's a pony of Americas. He's one of our smallest. I think he might be the smallest. He's 13-2 hands. But he's a little leopard Appaloosa guy, and he's so pretty. I do love him. And then here are his tack, and yes, it's pink, but you know, it looks good on him. And then here's Dallas. He's a quarter horse sitting at 15 hands, and he's super pretty. He just recently got done graying out, but he used to be like a red roan Sabino kind of color, and now he's grayed out all the way. Here's his tack. And then lastly, we have Dexter. He's a Welsh pony at 13 3 hands, and he also recently got done graying out. He used to be a bay, and now he's a gray, but it's okay. He's really cute. And his stats are pretty good, so I've used him to make quite a few of our babies. And then here's his tack as well. And then over here we have our 2 cross ties and wash bays. And then we have another entrance to the arena on this side of the barn as well. And then we have a little courtyard going on over here that you can like sit and you can watch people ride. And then this is our tack room. It's really nothing too exciting. It has pink doors because I thought it looked cute, but this is the tack room. Tack room / feed room. The feed room's in there. But we have a little couch that you can come and sit and ride. If it's like bad weather, you can come sit in here. These are our tack lockers. There's actually nothing in them. Then these are our like tack trunks. So in here we have different types of halters. We have saddles. And here we have just our normal riding tack. We have our English tack in here. And here we have our jumping tack, and then our western tack, and then up here we have different types of blankets, just extra blankets, and then up here we don't have anything, and then that last one we don't have anything either. So then over here we just have a countertop with a sink because I didn't know what to put over here. And then here's our feed room. It's really nothing too exciting. It just has different types of feed in here. And it has a sink, a shelf up top, and then this has a bunch of our different types of treats. So really nothing too exciting. And then next we'll go down. So we have a change in elevation, so we have these steps down. And then right here is our donkey pen. So we do actually have genetic donkeys and mules with the realistic horse genetics. So there are pretty cool looking donkeys, and they all range in size. So here's Tootsie. She's a miniature donkey. She's so cute. Here's Jerry. He's our darker brown donkey. And then we do have 2 chickens in here. So here's Gary. And Fred is around here somewhere. Up here we have Eeyore. He's a little spotted donkey, and he's super cute. And then we have Matilda. She's like a champagne colored donkey. Here's Trouble. He's just a regular gray donkey. And then Pixie's another like champagne donkey. And Bananas is like a Perlino donkey. And then here's Fred. And Pixie is stuck in a corner. But their pasture is super cool. They have a bunch of space to roam around. And then down here is like their little shelters. Actually, this is actually a natural like cave that came out the other side. And so I made it to where it can be like their shelter. So it comes all the way down here. And then they have an ocean, which hence the name of the barn is Oceanside, because the entire property is surrounded by the ocean. Okay. And then we can go ahead and head over to the paddocks. Oh. So over here we have all of our mare paddocks. We have quite a few of them. Each paddock can hold up to 2 mares. So over here we have Aspen, who's actually Atlas's first foal. And then here's Raven. She's like a blue roan Ravicano. Each pasture has a little shelter that they can come into if the weather gets bad, with food and water in here. And then they each have a tack trunk outside of their pasture as well with their books. They don't have any tack yet, which I do need to get around to doing. And the next pasture we have Ivy, who's another one of our like foundation mares, and she's a splash white dun paint horse. And then over here we have Pandora, and she's another leopard appy. She's actually out of Nero. So Nero passed on his leopard gene. And then of course they have their books in here as well. In this pasture we have Whisper, who's a like a Grula color again, but she does carry the leopard gene because her mom is Pandora. And then in here we have Sage, who's just a bay with a little bit of Sabino in her, and she's another one of our foundation mares. In here we have 2 mares. So in here we have Snicker. She's just a liver chestnut Tobiano mare. And she is also a foundation mare. And then we have Autumn, who is a bay roan. And her dad is Atlas. I don't remember who her mom is, but she's super pretty. And here we have Primrose, who actually used to be a bay roan, and then she grayed out. So she used to look like Autumn did, but she grayed out all the way. And then here is Rhapsody. She's our all black mare, and she actually hasn't had many foals. I do want to breed her more, but she hasn't had many foals, and she's always stuck in a corner. And here we have Bambi, who's a bay dun. She does have the dorsal stripe, so she's a dun. And then we have Flower, who's just a solid chestnut mare, and she's actually named after a mare I know in real life. And then in this last paddock on this side, we have Juniper, who's a bay mare, and her mom is actually Annie, who's in this pasture. And then we have Holly, who is another foundation mare, and she's a gray. I don't know what color she used to be because I found her in the wild, and I found all the foundation horses out in the wild, so I'm not sure what color she used to be. But she's a gray now, and there's their little shelter. And across from here we have our mare pasture. So this has a few mares in here. These are the mares that I don't typically breed very much because their stats aren't very good. The only mare that I really breed is Delilah here. Yeah, Delilah, she's just a bay Tobiano, but her stats are pretty good. Over here we have Malibu. She's another foundation mare, but her stats aren't very good, so I don't typically breed her. And then over here we have Milky Way and Twix. They're half-siblings. Their mom is both Annie, and Annie is right there. So they got fun names. And here's Annie. Annie's had quite a few foals, but all of them have ended up being bay. So we have the 2 lighter bays, and then we have Juniper in there, who's also a bay. But her stats are also pretty good. And lastly is Nala. She used to be a red roan, but she is graying out, and she's almost done graying out. And then this pasture goes pretty far back. It goes all the way back to the village. And then we do have a bee in here as well. We have a beehive, and the bee comes out every so often. I don't see it too often, but I kept it in here because this was his home, so I don't want to tear it down. And then this, you'll see later, is part of our trail. And then we'll go around to the back side of the mare paddocks where we have more. So this leads off to our trail, which I'll get to in a minute, but we have more mare paddocks back here. These ones are not full yet, so they typically only have 1 horse in them at the moment. But here's Athena. She's our biggest mare. I think she stands at 15, 16 something? 15-1. She's our biggest mare, and she's a silver bay, and she's super pretty. She's only had a couple foals, and I'll show you those guys in a minute. And then here's Sienna. She's a champagne Tobiano. She's my first cream colored horse, or my first horse that carries the cream gene, or not the cream gene, the champagne gene. So I do plan on having more babies out of her. And then here is Harper. She is Athena's first baby. She's a chestnut Tobiano that carries the silver dapple gene. She just doesn't present it. And then in here is our only pasture back here with 2 babies. So this is Karma, and she's out of Raven, who's the blue roan Rabicano, and her dad is Eclipse, who's the black Tobiano. And so she's a black Tobiano with the Rabicano marking, so she's pretty cool. And then back here we have Paris, who's a silver dapple Tobiano mare, and she's also stuck, but she's super pretty. I do plan on breeding her too. And then lastly over here we have Lyra, and she's just I I think she's done. Yeah, she's like a Grula again, so she's carries the Dunging. She's a really cool color, but I don't plan on breeding her because her stats are very poor. So she will probably be moved out into that mare pasture pretty soon. I just kept her in here for now because this was like the first like place I moved her to. And then this is also part of our trail as well. So we do have a very, I wouldn't say big, but we have a good sized trail that goes around the forest and leads back over here and goes over the bridge. So I will take a horse through it actually. I'll probably take my boy Atlas out because he's my favorite. He's one of the foundation horses, but I do love him. So let me grab a saddle real quick, and then I'll just grab his riding tack for now. And I will go ahead and take him out. He's very tall, and so it's kind of funny riding him because like you get on a pony and then you get on him and it's like a size difference. So here's his tack. This is just the normal riding tack, so it just has saddle pad and then polos. So we're going to take him for a ride. He's not the fastest in the world, nor is he the best jumper, but he's founded the most foals. He's also not the best jumper, but it's okay. So you can either start the trail from this side of the property or the other side over by that bridge. I like to start on this side though and then end on the bridge. So this goes all through the forest, and this entire like land is surrounded by the ocean, hence the name of the barn. And now we're stuck in a tree. This is why, like, when I created this trail, I was on a pony. I did not think this through. It's okay. It needs some work. Slightly. Because now I'm stuck. Alright, buddy. You got it. I believe in you. Okay. We're just gonna ignore this, okay? And it does run past a cave system, so you kind of have to like watch out for the cave. Okay, this was a really bad idea. This was a really bad idea. Okay. Well, this is the trail, guys. Maybe, no, we can't go through there. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, we're just gonna pretend this never happened, guys. And he's officially stuck. Okay, there we go. Yay! Okay. I do need to go in and modify the trail, obviously. I just created it last night while I was like half asleep. So it's not the best. But it's very pretty. I do like it. I do plan on adding like a cross-country horse to this world in the future. And then I do plan on adding like a pond. Maybe you can stop by the trail. There's this dog that's been hanging around here. And it wraps around like the entire forest for the most part. And then you come out here and you can either end it here or you can go across this bridge that goes over like the water. And it lands on the side of the property. But it goes over like this little lagoon area that we have. Alright, so I do plan on adding so much more to this barn, which I'm super excited for. And then obviously I'm going to modify the trail because that was embarrassing. And I picked up an egg somewhere. I don't know where I picked up the egg, but I picked up the egg from somewhere. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the barn. I've been spending literally all my free time literally building this barn. I'll give you guys an overview of it real quick. It's pretty big. I do have plans for this village over here. I do have plans for behind the barn and over there as well. But here's the barn. It's pretty big so far, and I plan on adding so much more. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys all in my next video. And I will hopefully see you guys in the next video. Bye!